I'm on observation duty. 7 is finally here, although I wish it released a month ago, no reason in specific. And after a few days of playing, I finally managed to beat it, kinda. Before I start this slightly shorter than usual video, as always, if you do enjoy the content, please like and subscribe as it helps a ton, and I wish to do this full time one day. Without wasting any more time, let's delve deep into the newest game of the series. So the first things to mention about this game are the maps. There's a total of 6 maps that we can tackle on normal and hard difficulty, but fair fucking warning, hard mode is insanely hard. Before writing the script, I have completed all of the maps on normal mode, as hard mode will take way too much time and almost certainly doesn't offer us any interesting story tidbits. How am I sure, you might ask? The answer is because of the achievements. All of the achievements except one correlate to beating each map on normal and hard mode, seeing very specific intruders, which I'll mention in a bit, and finally 3 hidden achievements. One of these is finding a familiar face, the other one is something new, and the last one is forgetting the ending of the game. Because of this, I am pretty certain there is nothing past beating the hard modes. However, if you are interested in seeing me try and beat these hard modes, I might be willing to stream it and sacrifice my sanity in order to beat it. So if you do want to see that, let me know down in the comments. Anyway, the final thing that correlates to everything is the newest version of the anomaly report system, and god fucking damn it, they have managed to make it so incredibly good, but fuck does it make the game hard. The system works very similarly to the 6th game, but with a sort of mashup of everything they've learned while making all of the games in the past. There are still 2 parts to it, our left and our right mouse buttons. Using the left mouse button, we can, just like in the previous game, select a certain part of the camera, but unlike that game, we also must specify exactly what anomaly type it is. The anomaly types in this game are, for the first time in the series, completely consistent. Across all of the 6 maps, the ones we have assigned are dead body, door anomaly, extra object, image anomaly, intruder, missing object, object manipulation, object movement, and object replacement. This game does a decent job of eliminating overlap in the categories, which was a criticism that I personally, alongside others, had. The only weird one is object movement and object manipulation, as in the rawest sense of the words, they can both be interpreted as the exact same thing. Instead of making you suffer like I had to, I'll briefly explain all of the anomaly types and how they work. Dead body obviously refers to corpses and severed limbs and shit like that. Door anomaly is slightly weird, as in previous games it was anything related to doors, but in this one it has a very small change. Doors opening and or closing are now considered as object movements, which I think is the more logical solution than lumping it in together with the smaller door changes like altered knobs and stuff like that. The only exception to this is if a door's knob is moving, it is still considered the door anomaly instead of object movement. Extra object is exactly what it seems to be, an extra object. Image anomaly has combined the previous series of struggles with painting movement, painting anomalies, and the weird scenarios of TVs and other screens. They're now all lumped together, so everything from images, paintings, text on posters, TV broadcasts, and monitor displays being changed all count as image anomalies. Intruders are the same as they have always been. You can figure this one out for yourself. Missing objects, again, very self-explanatory. Now it's time for the weirdest ones, which I mentioned and we'll have to explain together. Object manipulation and object movement. These two work very differently, even though they sound really similar. Object movement is considered anything that has physically moved, so items being in other locations, doors opening, objects wobbling, or even this valve twisting all count as object movements. Object manipulation, on the other hand, is considered anything being manipulated with, so buttons being clicked, water being moved, items being broken, stuff like that. It's still very hard to understand, but basically anything that has had its shape altered fits into this category, albeit very roughly. Lastly, we have object replacement, which literally means something has been swapped out with another thing. Next up, our right click is pretty much the same from the 6th game, pulling up a menu of a few very obvious anomalies that we would need to select alongside the camera it appeared in. The ones listed here are Abyss, which is a series staple, and it is this weird black hole forming and slowly taking over the entire location. They also look incredibly sick in this game, and you can't really mistake them for much. Camera malfunction is back, and once again, if it happens, our camera is disabled and we simply skip over it when flipping through the other cameras.
Hello, sir. Did you witness anything strange in the area?
What, witness?
Yes. Is this camera on?
Yeah, we're live.
Oh, nah, I ain't seen nothing. I ain't seen nothing. Matter of fact, I'm blind in my left eye and 43% blind in my right eye. I don't see much of nothing. Matter of fact, I can't even see you, sir.
Lights, which are also self-explanatory, include any light flickering, big lighting changes, and such. This anomaly, however, has a little bit of a dumb decision, but I'll go over it shortly. Rift is the new instant kill addition to this game. It starts sucking up everything on the camera, slightly reminiscent of the distortions from previous games, but it keeps forming to form a literal rift until it smacks us. Steam, smoke, fog are all bunched up now, and they are exactly what they say they are. But exactly like the lights, it has a slightly dumb gimmick attached to them, which I'll go over now. Alongside all of these anomaly types, we can encounter certain rule breaker anomalies. Most of these are set in their own category, and when our menu is pulled up, it will give us a final option. This can happen in both of these menus, but the rule is basically to try left click. If it is not there or it cannot be selected, it will be in the right click menu. The outliers are lights and steam, smoke, fog. They are very specific, as there are times when a single light turns off, like right here, or when smoke is coming out, like in this clip. The way to remember how to report these is that smaller light fixtures and smaller sources of steam, smoke, or fog will need to be selected with a left click, and the big screen covering versions of them will require the right click menu. As well with these ultra specific anomalies in other categories. This problem is fixed, however, by certain anomalies being able to be reported as the thing they most likely are. Take this piece of meat for example. I reported it accidentally as an extra object and it still worked. This is actually how I found out about this mechanic. This also works with doors opening. It can be bunched up as door anomalies and object movements, but only in specific cases. I don't fully understand how it works. It would require some extreme testing to find it out, so take it with a grain of salt. This system is much harder than almost any other system that's been tried in the series. Of the first 4 games, we don't talk about the third one, is simpler, but not by much, as we would have to only select what type of anomaly it was and the camera it is on. In the 5th game, they switched it to test a 3-strike system that kills you if you fail, but has us only say which camera there's an anomaly in. And the 6th game is mostly similar, but just strictly easier, as it is missing the menu that requires us to show exactly where there is an anomaly and what it is. All in all, it's a sizable increase to the difficulty, but I honestly welcome it. Alongside the normal and hard mode split existing for even more hardcore gamers, the difference between the normal and hard modes is that if we choose hard, after 3 false reports, our system will crash and take about a minute to boot back up. Considering the night lasts for 30 minutes in this fucking game, it's not the biggest mistake, but if it happens at a bad time, it can completely fuck you over. I think that's finally all about the general gameplay of the 7th game, and we can move on to each one of the maps in a bit more detail and the final secret in the game to see what it has to offer. Starting off with the first map, the Spa.
Our Nordic branch has been contacted by a demolitions team sent to raise an old spa building in. Curiously, it seems as if someone, or something, has been maintaining the locale, halting it from falling to decrepitude. The local police department suspected squatters, but later report coming under attack by unidentified beings during their investigation of the premises, forcing a withdrawal from the site. Our branches are of one mind in suspecting the events of being anomalous in nature.
It consists of 6 cameras, just as every map in this game does, except the last one. And they are the lobby, dressing room, main pool, cold pool, water slide, and sauna. This is the first map of the game, and it serves as a strong opener. It has an overwhelming number of bigger anomalies that you can't really miss, but to beat it or play it on hard mode, it adds equally as many, if not more, very tiny anomalies that you will most certainly miss. It also starts the trend of this game by having 3 map-specific intruders. On this map, we have the maggot on the water slide camera, and it crawls out of this slide making unpleasant noises, to be quite frank. It also requires us to report it twice. We also have the siren on the dressing room camera, who, when reported, gets slightly mad and lightly taps the locker next to it. The final one on this map is the Nixie, and it is found underwater in the main pool. They're all special in their own way and have an achievement connected to them. I also want to show this secretary guy in the lobby. It appears, and when reported, we get asked how many growths. It has weird pimple looking things on its body, and we gotta count them before reporting. I honestly didn't count them any time, I just kind of guessed. But yeah, that's pretty fucking gross. That's pretty much everything about this map, so let me show you the fun facts about the next map, which is the apartment building. The description tells us this.
There has been a dramatic increase in missing person reports filed in the district. Concerningly, most from the same apartment building. Multiple witness reports describe hearing noises from the basement, such as the sound of heavy-footed walking, screams and laughter resembling that of an elderly woman.
This map is honestly the most generic map of the game. Its feel and gameplay feel like they've been rehashing other maps from various games, but with that said, it's also important to mention that it is very polished because of that and doesn't have any insanely unfair anomalies. With that said, the cameras on this map are entrance, stairway, club room, basement, storage, and garage. On the map, we are also introduced to a few intruders. First being the charger, which appears in the basement camera. It can actually also appear on a map later on, so I'll mention it when it is relevant. It is this horse-looking thing and I hate it. It also has a huge-ass tongue that licks the camera before it smashes it for some reason. Anyway, the next one, and my personal favorite of the game, is the hag, who appears in the stairway. It walks around with its walking thing that I can't remember the name of. Fuck, what is it called? Whatever. Once we try to report it, well, it fucking karate kicks back onto the screen, and if we don't report it in time, it just starts fucking screaming. It's so fucking hilariously just like jarring. It scared the shit out of me the first time I got it. The final big intruder of the map is my goat, Huge Man. The Huge Man is back again, and this time he appears in the garage and pulls up in his whip that has a custom license plate that says Huge and probably Louis Vuitton seat covers and a Rolex watch on his fucking wrist. If we try and report the man as an intruder, he will give us the fattest bitch slap I have ever seen and call us a fucking disappointment. If we continue reporting as an intruder, we will eventually get our camera smashed and lose, and also be called like 7 different insults. If you use our brain, however, and use right click to report him as Huge Man, it will give us a fucking captcha to select images of it. And I just have to add, these images are so fucking funny if you really look at them. Like, what the fuck even is this edition? With that said, nothing more on this map, so it's time for the log cabin.
An old cabin in the woodlands has become of great interest to our Nordic branch. Once the setting for a grotesque series of murder kidnappings, it now draws anomalies to it like a beacon. Several hikers and skiers have already fallen out of contact in the vicinity, and we have little reason not to suspect their disappearances to be linked to the recent surge of anomalous activity at what the local news once called the Vonpicker Cabin.
This map is a bit special, but not by a big margin. It is actually the map that was released as the demo for this game. It was the first available map to play, but besides that, there isn't that much going on. The setting is pretty cool, being mostly isolated from the world because it is in the woods. The added exposition about it also tells us about a new thing. Bodak has international branches, and this doesn't mean much in the broader story, but it does shut down a theory I had about the next few maps. Anyway, the cameras on this map are yard, entryway, living room, kitchen, bedroom, and bathroom. A very simple and honestly very fucking overused layout, but it does the trick to set up the 3 big intruders, and by big I mean giant, who is the first one we can encounter. It appears on the kitchen camera, barely being able to fit inside of the room. If not reported fast enough, we simply lose. The second one we can encounter is the competitor. It'll ski right up to us on this already treaded path in the yard, and if not stopped fast enough, you know the drill by now. The last one is the passenger. It appears in the entryway and smashes its head on the door. Once reported, it actually mimics the Huge Man by having us complete a captcha, but this time we're looking for hard hats. Moving on, the gas station.
It appears we have a case of anomalous activity along the highway, more precisely at a middle of nowhere gas station 20 kilometers from the nearest town. Passing drivers report feeling observed while in its vicinity, and the amount of disappearances along its intersecting roads has seen an inexplicable increase, including multiple cases of car and passengers both vanishing without a trace.
This map consists of, yet again, 6 cameras. gas pumps, store, cafeteria, parking lot, backyard, and road. The intruders found here are very unique as well. Firstly, we have the gambler, who is the most normal one out of the bunch. It appears in the store camera playing this slot machine. Upon reporting it, it becomes enraged and tries to flip over the machine for flipping on us. The next one is a bit more unique, as it is someone we have already met in the previous games. The stalker, who hides behind a car in the parking lot, and it's also unique in that it took me 6 fucking hours to find this bitch. It was the final one I was missing, and I will fucking murder somebody if this happens again. The next one is the car, and it's unique, well, because it's a fucking car. It appears on the road and tries to run us over if we don't report it in time. But we aren't done yet, as this map has an additional special intruder. On the road, we will see this UFO try to pick up the car, and upon reporting it, we are met with this. We need to report it as an alien invasion, and the achievement gotten reads "Stop the alien invasion." So take that as you will. All in all, this was a very solid step up in difficulty from the first 3 maps. Many cleverly hidden anomalies and not that many that made me want to shoot myself, and it also has some of the coolest ones in the game that don't add anything. There's this invisible guy in the cafeteria alongside these big intruders, and another really special one known as Rush Hour. This Rush Hour anomaly has a bunch of cars appear as the gas pumps, and one of these cars has a license plate that reads huge. Interesting, huh? This map also is one of the ones that I mentioned shot down one of my Furies. There is significant amounts of text on this map, shown on posters, signs, even the newspapers, which, by the way, also feature a headline about Huge Man, further implying that he is a known quantity in the universe. The signs also give us a language which, from my research and a very smart friend who knows a lot about the world, our educated guess is Finnish, which means it lines up with this game making use of Bodak's Nordic branch. And that's exactly why it shoots down my fury of Finnish Timothy, because I play the maps in a whack as fuck order. Moving on, the museum.
We've confirmed a major outbreak of anomalous origin at the Museum of the Arts, as reported by multiple night guards employed on site. They recite seeing paintings changing appearance, furniture no longer existing where it was last observed, and statues becoming animated by their own volition. Despite this, the director of the museum has yet to suspend entry to visitors or take any administrative steps to otherwise guarantee their safety.
The museum is another map that features the same language on signs and pamphlets thrown around. This is also the first map I would call genuinely hard. It has a lot of sneaky and well-placed anomalies thrown across all of the cameras. It also has another batch of cool intruders that aren't even achievement worthy. An example would be this glowing guy in place of a statue, or even this other statue forming to be a real person. On that note, I also think this is meant to be the principal from the 6 Games University map, but either way, it doesn't impact much. It was just something I observed while playing the game, and I thought it was really cool. As for the cameras, there are once again 6. Lobby, painting gallery, statue gallery, round gallery, cafeteria, and gift shop. The first big bustling bitch on this map is the Void. This one is really cool, as it appears in the lobby with its head against the wall, and it seems to just be another intruder. However, upon reporting it, it reveals its form to us, showing the Void where its head is supposed to be. It also just looks incredibly cool. The next one we can encounter is also really sick, and it's the floater. It or they appear in the gift shop, and basically it's a set of 4 people's shadowy figures floating. Upon clicking on one of them, they vanish. Out of the 4, 1 is real, and we must report it as an intruder to make them go away. The final one we can find is actually a recurring guest known as the Skinny Prince. He can appear on any camera, I think, but I'm not quite sure as the game is still relatively new. I had him appear on the painting gallery, but he still works the exact same as he does in 6. An alert will pop up warning you to not switch to that camera, and if you do that, you can guess what happens. You have to report him using our right click and selecting the camera that it said he was in. The last thing I have to mention is that Huge Man is present once more, albeit in a very small way. One of the anomalies has these small statues in the gift shop get swapped out with statues of Huge Man. So that's cool, I guess. It just kind of keeps hammering in this point of Huge Man being really fucking important, but I think we've gotten the message so far. But anyway, that's it for this map, and it's on to the final and hardest one in the entire series.
Officials in have grown concerned after a recent string of health emergencies, all stemming from the ingestion of local canned products traceable to a defunct factory in the area. Health inspectors, alongside deputies of the local sheriff's office, entered the premises a week ago, reporting seeing the factory in full operation and overseen by a pair of employees previously presumed dead, behaving as if under hypnosis. Following the incursion, we detected a rapid increase of anomalous activity in the area, with no end in sight.
The cameras on the factory map are monitoring room, quality control, canning line, maintenance, storeroom, locker room, and break room. For those of you paying attention, you might have noticed that I listed off 7 cameras instead of 6. And for those few of you that did catch that, good job, gold star. But before I talk about this map, let's go over the big intruders on it. We'll start off with the weirdest one, which is the flasher. It'll appear in the locker room, and upon reporting it, we will get interrupted by whatever this is. Thank you, Natovia, really cool. We're also forced to look at it for a while as the second report is insanely slow. The next one we can find is the Optimist, who appears in quality control. This fucker just kind of stares and giggles. Nothing that special. We also just need to report him as a regular intruder. The next one is the Wobbler, who appears in the maintenance cam, and he is indeed very wobbly, but not that interesting, only barely squeaking out above the Optimist for the interesting category. We need to right click and report it as an intruder, because if we try to click on it with our left mouse button, it just teleports away endlessly. The final one we can find is kind of unique, as it already appeared on the apartment building map, and that is the Charger. This is, as far as I know, the only one we can find on multiple maps. So that's pretty cool, and we gotta keep it in mind. To add just a little bit on this map, it's in my opinion the single hardest map of the series. It has a lot of obvious anomalies, yes, but it has just as many, if not way more, of the insanely well hidden anomalies. It also has a few that are so fucking cheeky that it's not even funny. It took me about 3 to 4 hours of attempts and a lot of footage checking to be able to beat this. If I didn't record it and use it to find the anomalies after the many failed attempts, it would have easily been a 6+ hour endeavor to beat this map. But whatever. As for the lore of this game, honestly there isn't that much. Let me show you exactly what happens and then I'll talk about it a little bit. So yeah, it doesn't really give us any new info. These questions are all something that I've already been asking for a while. I'm also not certain that there isn't anything if you answer this in the correct sequence, as that needs way more testing than just me. If there's some bigger secret revealed here, I will most likely do a follow-up video on it, so subscribe to see that. But until then, we're left with this janky ending. Also on the title screen, after completing the survey, we see this guy in a suit who could be just about anyone. They don't look like Timothy or anybody else we have seen so far, so my interpretation is that it's simply supposed to be a placeholder for our player character. Honestly, all in all, I'm pretty disappointed with the lore additions in this game. It felt like a much more jumbled mess of bits and pieces that don't quite fit anywhere yet. Now, before I end this entire thing off, I just want to give out a few of my thoughts. I think this game was incredibly fun and a really welcome challenge. The 6th game was amazing and I thought he couldn't improve the system further. However, I was wrong. In this game, I think we can all finally agree that Notovia and the studio helping him have perfected this reporting system, having hard to see and hard to miss anomalies, even adding more of the big scare intruders, making it more of a horror game, and lastly, my favorite change was adding second parts to a lot of anomalies, like this door opening and getting slammed shut when we report it. With all these massive improvements and way too many good looking assets, I genuinely don't know where this series could go next. I think it's about time that we get a more story heavy game or a massive gameplay shift. The next game should, in my very unimportant opinion, keep the gameplay structure of this game and focus on telling a story. Finally give us something of a big threat like Timothy or Huge Man that we have to overcome. And this of course is still all left in Notovia's hands, and however we spin it, this is still an amazing franchise and I fully trust in every single person that has worked on this game to find a direction for it. That's about everything I had to say about I'm on Observation Duty 7. It was quite a bit more than I planned, so if you do enjoy this video, please make sure to subscribe as I hope to make even more videos like this. And as always, bye bye!